Hello, I'm Alejandra and I'm doing my Module 7 reading assessment. So, the first question asks me how I would define spiritually sensitive social work practice. How I would define it is that it is a type of practice where the worker seeks to nurture a person's full potential by using the 5 guiding principles that is talked about in the text of Kanda and Associates. How I would explain what spiritually sensitive social work practice is to a person who is lay or comes from the streets is, I would say it's a type of social work where this person must learn to use other guidelines to help them get better. So not just basing their progress of life or their self-determination on what the city tells them or coming up in a job or anything like that, but taking a look into the deeper self and trying to find what makes the client move forward during hard times. The components of spiritually sensitive helping relationships are valuing clarity, respect, client-centeredness, inclusivity, and creativity. I think these 5 principles shouldn't only be included in this type of social work practice, but in all of them. And it is because of the way that they empower the client if the worker uses them correctly. So valuing clarity is being clearly aware of the client's feelings, opinions, beliefs, and moral commitments. So here, the worker is not supposed to just assume, but clarify them with their client. Respect is to affirm the inherent dignity and worth of the client and accepting them with a non-judgmental approach, as well as recognizing the diversity and sacredness of their people. I say of their people because I'll use the Native American people for example. They are a declining population, and some of the beliefs that they have are due to their culture, and we must recognize the sacredness of their culture. The client-centeredness is the component that honors the client's wishes, and this one is tricky for me, sorry. And the social worker understands the client's understandings of themselves. So one might think that every person is worthy in all this beautiful, nice things, but perhaps the client does not believe that, right? The worker must also value the beliefs and aim to motivate the client to accomplish the goals that they aspire to accomplish. Inclusivity is this one stood out to me a lot because this one is more than just tolerance. So maybe I can tolerate a person, but I am not going to do what this person needs me to do to help them. And what this guiding principle tells us to do as workers is to not only tolerate, but engage with the spiritual diversity of the client and uphold their self-determination. Creativity is to help the client adapt and also gather allies that can help in the client's situation and with the client's culture and spiritual perspective. And the allies that are gathered by using this principle, will then create possibilities for growth. So I think creativity kind of helps with the part of inclusivity, because inclusivity, what you're doing is, besides tolerating, you're doing more than that. What you are trying to do is trying to make that person, even though you don't believe with what they believe, or their existence is something that is totally different and bizarre than what you believe or grew up with. Sorry, I thought I heard something outside and I'm really scared. So yes, you're not just tolerating them, rather you are taking the steps necessary to help this person feel safe in their environment and gather the resources by using creativity to help this person grow. The third question is, what are some potential challenges to developing a spiritually sensitive, helping relationship? I would say the biggest challenge that I would think about is if the client is not fully on board with what the worker is trying to accomplish. Then it would just be a one-sided thing from the worker, and the client is not very submissive to what the worker is trying to nurture here in this type of practice. What I learned about the spirituality sensitive assessment is the including narrative and the strengths approach. So for me, this is what stood out to me the most, because it was asking questions like, what helps you go through hard times? What do you do when you're not feeling well? And I think that although some people might not be on the very spiritual level, they can come up with answers like, oh, well, my mom helped me helped me when I was going through a hard time. She motivated me. And so what this shows is that this client does have a moral compass, and that they do have people in relationships that they want to grow and take care of. And so this is kind of a motivator into that spirituality type of work that we're trying to get into. Thank you. I'm sorry that I got scared.